From the land of the rain, we soak in the planet's piss, flooding out the weak. This is survival of the savages.
So I want to make this video about why you should always pretty much approach the hottest girls, because you know, you get a lot of guys who are like quite disillusioned with the whole dating process. You know, there's a lot of black pill guys, you know, guys who always think it's just about looks, and that, you know, if you're at a certain level of looks, maybe not at the top, and you're trying to get like really hot girls, like there's no point approaching them because you're never going to get on a date with them. But I think that's kind of not necessarily the best mindset, because there are actual advantages of approaching the hottest girls no matter where you are on the look scale. Obviously you're going to try and optimize your looks as best as you can, but I still think it's worth trying to go for the hottest girls, or at least approaching the hottest girls, even if, you know, realistically you're not necessarily going to have the highest chance of getting them out on dates. And the reason I say this is because there's a few reasons. Okay, so like the first one is because it helps you to get desensitized to beauty, and that's really, really important, I think, because a lot of guys are intimidated by looks. You know, they haven't had that exposure throughout their lives where they've been in the company of extremely attractive girls, and so it's just something that you need to face. It's something that you need to, you know, come into contact with. You need to just become comfortable with extremely attractive girls. It's just, you know, the thing is with this, it's not like, it's just like, it's not like, you know, rational. It's not like something that you can sort of like rationally pinpoint, like, why am I so intimidated by a girl's looks, you know. It's biological. It's just, it doesn't make that much sense, but it's just how it is, you know. It's the same reason why many guys have so much approach anxiety. It's because, you know, there's a partly due to like biological factors or evolutionary psychology not to approach girls that you find attractive, because then you might get like outcasted and that kind of thing, which when you think about it now just doesn't make any sense because we live in massive cities. But it's similar to that. It's completely irrational why you should be afraid or intimidated by a girl's beauty, but it is something that you need to face. So that's why it's important to approach the hottest girls. But the main thing really is just to cast a wide open net. So you're not just approaching the hottest girls, but you're approaching a large quantity of girls, of, you know, different types of girls, different, you know, levels of attractiveness, just to optimize your chances of actually getting responses, getting girls interested, potentially going on dates in the future. So that's what I would say to that. Another reason why it's quite important not to be intimidated by a girl's looks is that, you know, if you're not like fully able to be comfortable in the presence of a girl, then it's going to have a massive impact on the degree to which you can actually connect with them. Because like you've got to be fully relaxed, you've got to be fully comfortable, like when you're speaking to them, whether on the street or on a date, whatever, like you've got to be fully comfortable. And desensitizing yourself to beauty is pretty much one of the best ways you know that will enable you to get to that point. You know, you can't be speaking to a girl and just sort of worrying like, oh my god, she's so hot, oh my god, I don't feel worthy enough to speak to her, or whatever issues are going on in your mind. That stuff needs to be eradicated. You need to go in there like fully committed, full conviction, not giving a fuck about the outcome or whatever happens. You know what you're doing, you know you're coming from a good place, so you're just fucking going for it. So yeah, so that's really, really key, I think, because, you know, like when you actually are on a date with a girl, for example, you're meeting up later, you need to be able to be comfortable enough to have that connection with her, you know, where you're not really focusing so much on the fact that she's so hot. You're more focusing on the fact that, okay, I'm trying to build a connection with this girl, I'm really enjoying her company, I'm just reveling in the moment with this girl. You know, it's not like I'm feeling sort of pressure or like feeling discomfort in the presence of the girl. It's like, I want to be here, I want to be with this girl. So you need to be just fully relaxed with the situation, basically. Another reason as well is that, you know, there are some girls out there who don't put as much emphasis on looks as the whole of the internet seems to think. You know, there are some girls who are willing to, you know, date a guy who's not as attractive as them on the look scale, right? So for that reason, yeah, it's still worth going in and approaching the hottest girls, because yeah, they do exist. You know, girls who do place personality over looks, who don't care as much about a guy's looks. I especially tend to find that's the case in with like Russian and Ukrainian girls. You see that a lot of the time. You know, if you walk down the street, you'll see a lot of the time that these sorts of girls do have partners who are not as attractive as they are. You know, so these girls do exist. You know. Of course, it's going to be a massive grind if that's your aim, to find a girl who's way hotter than you are. It's going to take a lot of time and effort, but you know, it does exist, and you might as well go for it. You know, if you see that girl and you find her really, really super attractive, don't let the fact that she's super hot prevent you from actually doing it. You know, because you never know what can happen with this stuff. This stuff is very, very random, very chaotic. You just never know. Like the girl might not be bothered too much about your looks. She might focus on other things. So yeah, it's worth trying. But yeah, ultimately you should just approach like as many girls as possible and be kind of more open-minded with you know, the types of girls that you are approaching, mainly just to play the numbers game, because obviously with day game it is a huge numbers game, especially in the West or like the typical countries where it's mostly done. Yeah, there's a lot of competition with hot girls, so you've got to play the numbers game, and it's just good practice. You know, you need to be doing a lot of approaches to just get the practice in, so that when you do eventually find that girl that is A, into you, B, open-minded, C, friendly, D, you know, single, that's quite important. Yeah, she's going to be receptive to you. So you've got to kind of go through all the number of approaches, the practice to get to that point. And once you are at that point, you'll have all that previous reference experience to the point now where you're comfortable, you know what you're doing, you're having decent conversations, your level of conversations and everything else is just a much better point. So that's the reason why you should just be approaching the hottest girls and just generally casting a wide open net. No matter what you are in terms of, you know, looks or whatever you are on the look scale.
Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where we'll go out in public and work on your approach to girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.
The rain, we soak in the planet's piss, flooding out the weakness is survival of the savages. When all is gone, only we shall remain in this land that we claim, mixing sand with the rain. I cycle